Most people think tax planning happens in April, but in reality, that's just when everything gets reported. The real decisions, the ones that can meaningfully impact your long-term wealth, typically happen months earlier. And yet, most high-income investors and business owners are still making tax decisions after the fact instead of planning ahead. In this video, I want to walk you through a few of the most common and often overlooked tax efficiencies I see. And more importantly, how thoughtful planning may help improve outcomes over time. A comment I often hear from clients is something like this: I think everything is fine. My CPA handles it. And to be fair, their CPA was doing a good job. But what we realized pretty quickly was this: they are doing a great job reporting what had already happened, but not much had been done to plan ahead before decisions were made. Once we stepped back and looked at a bigger picture, timing, structure, how income was flowing, we identified areas where more intentional planning could have helped. Nothing aggressive, nothing overcomplicated, just better coordination. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is this: tax strategy isn't about finding more deductions. It's about making better decisions before income shows up. It's about when income is realized, where it shows up, and how everything fits together across your financial life. The most effective planning isn't reactive, it's coordinated. A lot of tax impacts come down to timing, not just what you do, but when you do it. For example, spreading gains across multiple years, coordinating large income events with deductions and charitable giving, being intentional about when you recognize income versus defer it. Even small adjustments in timing may help improve outcomes when coordinated appropriately. And this is where planning ahead, especially in the last quarter of the year, becomes really valuable. Another big area that often gets overlooked is structure: where your investments live, how income flows, how different pieces of your financial life interact. That can have a significant impact on taxes. I see this a lot with business owners, real estate investors, individuals with multiple income streams. Sometimes not about changing what you own, it's about being more intentional about how it's organized. Charitable planning is another area where small changes can create better outcomes. For example, donating appreciated assets instead of cash, using donor-advised funds to align giving with high income years, coordinating distributions and retirement with charitable goals. For your clients who are already charitably inclined, this can be a really efficient way to give, while also being thoughtful about taxes. What I found over the years is the biggest opportunities don't come from any one strategy. They come from how everything works together. Tax planning, investment strategy, estate planning, they're all connected. And when those pieces aren't coordinated, things can fall through the cracks. So instead of thinking about tax planning as a once-a-year exercise, we think about it as an ongoing process, especially heading into the year end. There are a handful of key areas where we typically review with clients each year to make sure everything is aligned. During our fourth quarter tax strategy meeting, our conversations often include things like projecting income and understanding what tax brackets we're working within, reviewing potentially large transactions or liquidity events, looking at opportunities for charitable giving and deductions, evaluating investment position and potential gains or losses, and coordinating with estate planning considerations. Nothing over complex, just making sure decisions are being made intentionally. When this is done well, tax season may become a lot less stressful. There are fewer surprises. And more importantly, clients may have a greater clarity around decisions being made with a clear plan in place, not just reacting after the fact. A few of the things I see fairly often: making large financial decisions without considering tax timing, donating cash instead of appreciated assets, overlooking how different accounts interact with each other, and not coordinating between advisors. None of these are huge mistakes on their own, but over time they can add up. At the end of the day, taxes aren't something you can completely eliminate. In fact, owing taxes means you're doing something right, but they are something you can plan around. The goal isn't just to chase strategies. It's to make thoughtful decisions that support your long-term goals. Because ultimately, it's not just about when you earn, it's about what you keep and how that supports the life you want to live. If you're someone who has a more complex financial situation, multiple income sources, a business, or upcoming decisions, it can be helpful to take a step back and look at everything together. If that's something you'd like to help with, there's a link below where you can schedule a conversation. Or if you just want to continue learning, I'll include a few additional resources you can check out.